All right, hello. So today is the day that I'm going to do my short little video on my jelly roll knitted blanket, which sometimes I show in my floss tube videos because it's something I've been working on. And I wanted to, but I can never like really show it because it's too big to like really show it in full. So I'm just going to show you what I've done so far, how far I, have stitched on this thing, what I've gotten complete, which is not much. So there it is. And it's fullness, I guess, length or whatever. I have no idea what the length is. I just knitted the first strip, jelly roll strip, until I felt like I was finished and felt like it was big enough. So a couple of things that I just wanted, and it's so hard for me to actually, I'm going to try to figure out how to actually show this, what I'm doing. But this, first of all, I'm a new knitter, okay? Very, very new. And so I had to watch lots and lots of videos to figure out how to do this. And I'm going to try to link the video, if I can find it, that I used that taught me how to do this. My stitching or knitting or whatever is definitely not perfect. You definitely see imperfections, but it's my first project and I don't even care. I don't care because I'm still going to be able to use this when it's finished. I'm not giving it to anyone. It's for me. So the first thing that I had to learn is and the reason why I chose to do this is because it's easy for me to keep track of my stitches on each strip. So I cast on, to begin with, to start this project, I cast on 15, just 15 stitches. So that was easy for me to keep up with 15 as I would stitch 15 and turn my work over and stitch 15 back. I could easily count that. So you could do 15 or 20, I guess, for the strip length. But I just chose 15 because I don't know why. But it's easy for me to keep track of, make sure that I am stitching and I'm not like missing a stitch or picking up a stitch, which as a new knitter happens a lot. And it still will. So I have definitely messed up a lot in this thing. What I had to learn is how to keep the edges of the project to where they looked like that. And I'm not exactly sure what that's called, like the last, what is this called? The edge? I don't know. So there's like if you don't do a certain way, if you don't stitch a certain way, then they're not gonna look like this. So, and the way you do it on the first strip is different than you do on the second, third, and fourth, because at this point you are attaching. When you get to the second strip, you're attaching it to the first, and it's totally different. So on this first one, I can't even remember what I did. I think I slipped a stitch, and then I started with a slip stitch, and then I ended in a purl stitch. On this one, I start with a slip stitch, and then I have to join it to this. It's something totally different. And then when I flip it over, I do something totally different, and then I end on a purl stitch. So in order to get this look, I guess it's a slip stitch and a purl stitch. Does that make sense? Probably not, especially if you have no idea how to knit and you're just beginning. So, that's why I definitely want to find that video that I used and link it because they deserve the credit for teaching me. But also I had to learn like how to make this like middle part where the strips connect look like that. And I have messed up a lot, but I don't care. I also had to learn how to join or change the color or change the yarn colors, because, you know, I'll just do this until I'm finished and I'll start with it. And so this is like a scrappy jelly roll blanket of all different kinds of yarns, or not different kinds of yarns, all different colors of yarns. I'm using in this one like a DK weight. One of these, some of these I've ordered from different places. Some of these I just had, I don't know where I got them from. I think this one was like came from Walmart, but some of these I like special ordered off Etsy. And I love how like squishy it is. So I just started this part today. I messed up down here. But yeah, I had to learn how to join, and I had to learn how to when you stitch these together, you have to do a certain like technique. Obviously you can see right there, it really bugs me. It's really poking out right there but I was just still learning. As you get up here and I started to get a little bit better about it, you can see there are less mistakes until you get to the very end and I stitched one row too much and messed up. So it's higher. And I'm leaving it. I don't care. I will just make the rest come up to here. But yeah, it's really cool. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna try to figure out how I can show myself stitching this. Okay, I have to use my camera on my phone to actually read this, but these are size US 5 3.75 millimeter needles that I'm using for this project. Okay, so I've decided that I could never be a Stitch With Me video person, you know, that does those close-up videos, because I just don't have a good place to put my camera, I guess, or maybe I just don't know how to set it up. If anybody knows how to do, like, has some sort of, like, how do people do those overhead shots? This is as good as I can get, and this is sitting on my desk, but I can't sit at my desk and like stitch for a long time. And like, this is far away from me right now. And I can do this. I can do like a Stitch With Me like this, because it's you know, a lot bigger than the cross stitching. But holy cow, like, I would like need something on my head, like a camera, like a GoPro or something on my head, in order to film while I'm stitching. I don't know how people do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of show you what I do. I have no idea what the names of these stitches are. I don't know. I'm gonna call them what I think they're called, and then if it's wrong, it's wrong, and you can just at least see it, and maybe you can correct me. That's fine if you do that. All right, so to start off with, and I'm on the right side of my project, the right side, whatever I guess that means, the side that is right. I don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to put my needle underneath like that and slip it off. Okay, and it looks big and stretched out, but it's not. Then I'm going to do on the next one, I'm going to, as if, you know, I'm knitting again, and I'm just gonna knit And I know that I may be holding my needles just weird, but I'm knitting. I'm just knitting. And I'm gonna go really, and I do go slow, because when I go fast, I mess up. I mean, I may speed this part up so you don't have to sit there and watch how slow, it's like painfully slow I am.
There's some people, when I watch their videos, I can't even see like what they're doing because they're so fast. And I guess that's just years of experience. I mean, considering that I've only not even been doing this like a year, and it's only like in spurts, like, oh, okay, I kind of feel like knitting. Because, you know, I'm definitely more the cross stitcher, but I really kind of do want to, want to do this a little bit more. I don't want to make like sweaters and stuff like that, I tried to do socks and that was a complete failure. But this is easy enough to where I can just like put it down and pick it back up like months later and continue. Sometimes it's not though, because you'll see in a minute when I change what I'm doing, that I forget and I'll have to go back and watch like a video, or I'll have to remind myself. What I need to do is just write it down, but then I even write it down, I just forget. That's why another reason why I'm actually making this video, so I can go back and remember what I do. Okay, so
when I get to this point and there's one more stitch over here, this is where I'm not gonna knit. I'm just gonna do the exact same stitch I just did, which is kind of like slip as if I'm knitting, and just slip it off, okay? Then I'll pick up this side here, and see, this is why I wanted to do, you know, I want the sides to be created with this easy stitch. They're like the little V stitch here, because I'm gonna pick up just the first, like this front closest to me leg of the stitch or whatever, of that V stitch, and bring it over, just, you know, slip it on there. Then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to slip it and catch both of those two loops. And then I'm going to, I don't know what this is called. I don't know if this is like a purl stitch or what I think it is, but with these two loops on. And I'm going to bring it over like that. And so now, and pull it out. So that just joined onto this, okay? And I should have 15 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. Now I'm going to turn my work. Okay, and sometimes if you're just starting, because I still do it, and I am just still starting, I'm just saying, sometimes my yarn gets caught up in my project and you just have to like put it down and straighten it all back out. Okay, just make sure, you know, that when you turn it, your yarn's out and, you know, in front there and on the side. So then to go back the other way, and to get that, this is to get that textured seam look. That's when you're joining the two together. It's a little bit unusual. You put your yarn on top, like over your hand, on top of your hand, okay? So it's hanging on top of your hand, in the front, on top of your hand. Let me say that again. In the front, on top of your hand. And then you're going to slip a stitch, like you're going to put your needle in the front and slip it. Then you're going to take your yarn and move it to the back. And then you're going to knit as usual. And I'm sitting here, I'm watching myself do this. I'm actually doing this through my phone camera, and I need to just do it regularly because it's not far enough away that I can't see it with my readers on and good lighting. And I'm hoping that you can see what I'm doing as well. And so you just knit back because we're on the wrong side of the project now. You just knit as usual.
Yeah, once I finally figured out how to do, like, join them, I'm gonna move these down a little bit. I was like, oh. But if I don't do it regularly, I don't work on this regularly, I forget. So I was like, I need to just make a video to remind myself what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
Okay, so now, let me pull these down. So now we're at the last stitch on the wrong side, and we need, oops, don't let it come off. We need to do it to where it makes that clean V stitch look. So it'll be easy to pick up, because honestly, that's like the only way I could do it. The other, if I don't do it this way, I won't be able to figure it out. I don't know, it's so hard for me to see the stitches for some reason. But to do that, on this last stitch, you're gonna move your yarn to the front, and then you're going to, what I think is called a purl stitch. I know that got blurry there, I'm sorry. So, and then you're done with this side, and you can turn it around and you do it all over again. But before I start, I'm gonna make sure I've got 15, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. So and then if you need to straighten out before you start the next row or whatever, then, or if you need to straighten out your yarn, you can do so. Ooh, I'm sorry. I was getting so many notifications, ridiculous. Okay, just different things, nothing important. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna show you again. So we're on the right side of the project. You're going to slip as if to knit, I believe it's called, and then you're going to knit.
I'll speed this up.
Okay, and this is where you have this is where it gets a little bit different. This is where you're gonna join together your strip to the other strips. So you're going to, on this last stitch, you're going to slip it off just like you did at the beginning, like slip off the stitch as if to purl, to knit, and then you're gonna go over to this side, and you're gonna pick up the outer part of the next V-stitch. So you have an extra stitch on here. Then you're going to put your needle in front of those. Come around like that. And do that. So we should have 15, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then we're going to turn and then do something a little bit different. Remember, we're still joining it, but we're just going the other side. You're going to bring your yarn, all your yarn to the front. I don't know why my yarn's getting so twisted up. To the front. Grab my needle. And then over my hand. And then you're going to slip the stitch off as if to purl, I guess. That's what it's called. And then I pull that tight a little bit and then take my yarn to the back and then just start knitting as usual. All right, and now we're at the last stitch on the wrong side. So you have one loop over here, it's the last one. We're gonna move the yarn to the front. And then purl. And then you can flip it back around. Oops, didn't mean to do that. See, and this is where sometimes it gets twisted, but whatever. Okay, and then we're back. Just as long as you get your yarn out from there. We're back on the right side, ready to join another row to the previous strip. And I'm gonna count my stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, still 15. And that's how you do it. What do y'all think? Does this help you? Anyone? It's gonna help me by keeping it and going back to it. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.